find yourself completely overwhelmed with the canning process? Do you think that it's going to take tons of time, or you just are not cut out for it? Hi, I'm Jen with Home by Jen, and I help busy moms organize their time, life, and space.
Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the 3 key points that you need to know if you are interested in learning how to can your own healthy homemade foods, and if you're a brand new beginner. So go ahead, Jen, share with us the first key idea.
The first thing is equipment. Buying a whole bunch of new equipment is something that you do not have to do. You can definitely use pots and pans that you already have inside your kitchen. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg and doing all of this research on Amazon and Pinterest and YouTube on what equipment that you need to purchase. Most of the stuff you already have at home.
Awesome. Okay. So the next big idea that you need to know if you're interested in learning about canning, especially if you're a busy mom, is that you might remember your grandma, your great-grandma canning all day long in these huge big batches of produce. And that might seem like way too much for you to tackle. Actually, you don't have to can huge batches like that. And you don't have to can for hours and hours at a time for days and days in a row. There's lots and lots of recipes and techniques that are quick, short, small batch, and in fact, lots of recipes that you could learn to can be done in under an hour. The third key idea that I think everyone should know that's interested in learning about canning is that canning is a science, kind of like how baking is a science. You don't have to understand how canning works, but you should trust that it is going to work. There are several pretty fascinating scientific principles at work that go into sealing jars so that they are shelf stable for up to a year. And it's a science, and you can trust that if you follow a canning recipe, it's going to work. It's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing. Sorry.
So yeah, it really is. So those are the 3 key ideas. Equipment, you don't need a ton of it. You don't have to can huge batches. And canning is a science. And you can let that knowledge be a reassurance to you.
Absolutely.
So,
and
Jen.
Absolutely. And as busy moms, we need any tips and tricks that we can get to save time and to save money around the house. We want to provide more homemade and handmade goodness in our home for our families, and that's why canning definitely will do that for you.
So we have created a workshop called You Can Can. And it is a video workshop that you can purchase for a bargain price of just $15. And I know that you're here watching this video because you're interested in learning about canning. You're interested in learning about creating more homemade food for your family. And by grabbing this amazing little bundle of lessons, you will be able to learn how to can the simple, easy, streamlined way that I share over on my blog, The Domestic Wildflower, all the time. In this workshop, there are a ton of resources that will help an overwhelmed, busy mom get started off on the right foot. So the first item is a workbook called the You Can Can workbook, and in it is several printables that I think are really, really valuable. There's a stove diagram that you can print off, and it shows you which pot goes where for the most efficient stove setup. There's a canning log, a canning season planner, an acid and canning guide, and more. It's super valuable. There's a video all about equipment. So we talked about how you don't have to have tons of fancy equipment. In the video, I explain like the giant black and white speckled pot and how to know if you should purchase that pot or not. And I explain how to get away with just using your pasta pot with a special trivet inside that I'll tell you about in the video. that replaces that giant pot. And I go through all the equipment you could choose to buy or not buy or borrow, and in great detail. There's another video, and it's about the basic process. You have an idea of like what happens first, what happens second, and what happens third. So that before you even turn the stove on, you know what's going to happen when. Then there is a really helpful page in the course, in the workshop, that has links to all the products that if you want to jump on Amazon and buy them, they're all right there. And those are the products that Jen and I use when we can in our home. And they, the links are there to make it easy for you. There's another video of how to prepare and how to set up. So like where you would put your pan of preserves, or where you would have your towel on the countertop with your jar lifter, and how to set up your kitchen so that it's working for you and not against you, and so that it's all a comfortable, low stress process. And then there's a bonus video about how to use this really cool advancement in the canning world called a steam canner. And a steam canner is, I won't tell you all about it right now, but it's basically a way to can faster. It's a really awesome pot that was recently approved by the USDA to can much faster than normal. And I teach you how to use that in this bundle. So Jen shared an amazing, amazing bonus. I'm gonna let her tell you about it right now.
Absolutely. So not only are you getting all of this knowledge about canning, but you're also walking away with 20-minute meal recipes that go along with some of your canned goods. So for instance, if you make salsa, I have a taco recipe to go along with that only takes 20 minutes. So it is literally on the table for you and your family to enjoy in 20 minutes or less. Another example is if you decided to make marinara sauce, you could use that recipe for meatball subs. So I've included 7 20-minute meals to go along with this workshop.
Awesome. What a valuable resource. So I know that you're watching this because you're interested in learning about creating more homemade, more handmade goods for your family. And you probably, before you started watching this, maybe you thought that canning took a ton of time. Maybe you thought it took a ton of equipment. Maybe you thought like it was way too complicated for you to try and figure out. But Jen and I are here to tell you it is a total game changer for a busy mom as far as making homemade food for your family and doing it on a time crunch and on a budget. So I hope, go ahead, Jen.
So if you've ever felt overwhelmed with the canning experience or even the thought of where to start, this is the perfect workshop for you because it doesn't go into the advanced details. This is a beginner level workshop that won't overwhelm you with too many details.
Absolutely. So every step of this workshop is mindful of your time. And I tried to include lessons that would be perfect for a brand new beginner that show you in a way that a cookbook cannot exactly what to do when. So by the time you've watched all the lessons, you will know exactly what to do. And you'll be canning your first batch in no time.
So if your garden is busting at the seams with tomatoes and strawberries and raspberries like mine is right now, and you have no idea what to do with all of your awesome produce in your garden, well, this is exactly what you need for your garden. So there is no wasted food at all this season.
Awesome. I hope all of you decide to click the link below and enroll in the You Can Can workshop for the amazingly low price of just 15 bucks. You cannot possibly go wrong.
Absolutely. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here, guys.